chosen one. You are not hearing this by accident. This moment was scheduled in heaven before you ever pressed play. The timing is precise, the alignment intentional, because heaven does nothing randomly. What you are feeling right now, that sudden alertness in your spirit, is not emotion. It is recognition. This message found you because you are standing at the edge of a divine intersection where obedience meets provision and faith meets fulfillment. Chosen one, you are not in a waiting season anymore. You are in a crossing. What was delayed is shifting. What was held back is being released. Scripture reminds us in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 that the vision may seem delayed, but it will not lie at the appointed time. It will speak suddenly. That appointed time is now. Anointed one, heaven is opening a financial window over your life, not slowly, not gradually, but swiftly. This is a supernatural moment of alignment where resources, favor, and divine strategy converge. You are standing in the doorway of elevation, and what God is about to do will not require striving, only surrender. Let your spirit come into agreement. Still your mind. Open your heart. What follows is not information, it is activation. The atmosphere is holy, the moment urgent, and the instruction weighty. Chosen one, receive this word with reverence. Heaven is speaking, and your income shift cannot wait. Chosen one, I need you to slow your breathing for a moment and let this land where it's meant to land, not in your head, but in your spirit. Because what is happening right now is not motivational energy, and it's not emotional hype. It's a moment of divine interruption. Heaven does not interrupt unless something urgent is about to shift. There are seasons when God whispers, and there are moments when He speaks plainly. This is one of those moments. What you are sensing is not anxiety, it is pressure from glory. It is the weight of a door opening that does not stay open forever. Anointed one, I've lived long enough to know the difference between a long process and a sudden turning. I've watched God move slowly, layer by layer. But I've also experienced those moments where everything changes in a single decision, one act of obedience, one uncomfortable step, one quiet yes that no one else even noticed. And every time the shift didn't happen when I felt ready. It happened when I moved. That's what this word is about. There are things in life that delay because they are being prepared. And then there are things that delay because they are being resisted. Your income delay was not because you were unqualified, lazy, or overlooked. It was resisted because of what would happen once provision caught up to your assignment. Heaven knows what you would do with overflow. Darkness knows it too. Chosen one. You didn't just stumble into financial pressure. You were pressed because pressure creates clarity. Pressure exposes where obedience has been postponed. And I say this gently because I've been there, knowing exactly what God asked me to do, convincing myself I'd do it soon, and wondering why everything else felt stuck. I remember a season where money never disappeared completely, but it never multiplied either. Bills were paid, but barely. Effort was high, peace was low, and I kept praying for provision, not realizing God was waiting on movement. When I finally obeyed, not dramatically, not publicly, just honestly, things shifted fast. Not because the action was big, but because the obedience was real. That's why this moment matters. Chosen one, heaven is not asking for perfection. It is asking for alignment. Alignment is what turns effort into flow. When you are aligned, provision doesn't feel like struggle, it feels like assignment. You stop forcing doors and start walking through doors that were already unlocked. Right now, there is a grace on immediacy. This is not fear-based urgency. This is divine timing. There are moments where delay does not protect you. It costs you ease. If you've ever missed a flight by 5 minutes, you understand this spiritually. The destination didn't disappear, but the journey became harder. That's what is being revealed to you. Anointed one, there is something small that has been heavy on your spirit. It may not look spiritual at all. It could be a conversation you've avoided, a project you've delayed, a step you keep explaining away. But every time you think about it, something tightens in your chest. That is not guilt. That is recognition. Heaven has already moved ahead of your obedience. While you were praying, things were aligning. While you were enduring, things were accelerating. While you were wondering if anything was happening, strategies were being prepared that only make sense once you move. I've learned that God often prepares the provision first and waits to see if we will trust Him enough to walk into it. Chosen one. This is not about money alone. Money is just the language this lesson is using. What God is really shifting is authority, because when provision flows, your assignment speeds up, your impact widens, your voice carries further, and that's why resistance showed up where it did. But hear this clearly, resistance does not mean denial. Resistance means proximity. You are closer than you think, closer than your circumstances suggest, closer than your emotions admit. The delay you interpreted as rejection was actually expiration, the expiration of an old assignment that could no longer hold you. So don't rush ahead in panic, and don't sit back in hesitation. Just be honest with yourself and with God. Ask the question that unlocks the door. What have I delayed that obedience is now asking me to do immediately? Because when you move, chosen one provision moves with you. Chosen one. As we step deeper into this word, I want you to truly understand the sacred weight resting on this moment. Not the weight of fear, but the weight of destiny. The kind that presses not to crush you, but to shape you into someone who can carry what heaven is releasing. There are seasons where God teaches through repetition, and there are seasons where God teaches through interruption. You are in the latter. Something is interrupting the old rhythm of your life, because the old rhythm cannot carry the new release. I know what it feels like to be stuck in cycles that seem unbreakable, financial cycles, emotional cycles, spiritual cycles. You pray, you declare, you fast, and it feels like you are walking in circles instead of crossing into breakthrough. But I also know what it feels like when God suddenly steps into the middle of your routine and says, "Move now." Every major shift in my life began that way, not with comfort, not with clarity, but with conviction, that inner tug that doesn't go away, that quiet instruction that grows louder the longer you ignore it, that pull you feel right now. Anointed one is heaven aligning your steps with your provision. You may not see the entire path, but the next step is visible enough for obedience to follow. I've learned that when God is ready to elevate you, He doesn't always increase your resources first. He increases your responsibility. He asks for a decision, a step, a surrender that feels almost too small to matter, yet too heavy to ignore. There was a time in my own journey when God asked me to release something I thought I still needed. It didn't make sense. It felt inconvenient. But it kept resurfacing in my spirit, the same way something has been resurfacing in yours. The moment I finally obeyed, doors opened that I never prayed for. Provision I didn't chase started chasing me. Opportunities that belonged to another level began appearing in my life, and I realized something I will never forget. Heaven only funds what you are willing to walk into. You cannot receive overflow while clinging to instructions you refuse to obey. You cannot step into divine flow while gripping habits, fears, or excuses that belong to an older version of you. Chosen one. The spiritual pressure you feel is not happening because you're failing. It's happening because you're transitioning. Heaven is pulling you forward, and anything in your life that does not align with where God is taking you will start to feel heavier. That is divine strategy, not punishment. You've been asking for clarity, and clarity often comes by discomfort. The places where your peace feels disrupted are the places where your obedience is being summoned. I want you to think about the moments lately where something inside you felt unsettled. A conversation you knew you needed to have. A step you felt drawn to take. An idea that keeps returning no matter how many times you push it aside. Those moments are not random, they are breadcrumbs from heaven. And here's what I need you to understand deeply. The enemy does not attack empty seasons. He only attacks when something valuable is about to be released. The confusion around your finances, the unexpected expenses, the anxiety that hits you at night, none of that is accidental. It's targeted pressure sent to distract you from the very instruction that will unlock your increase. When my own financial breakthrough came years ago, it didn't come during a peaceful season. It came right after one of the most chaotic seasons of spiritual warfare I had ever faced. That is when I learned one of heaven's most consistent patterns. Breakthrough often hides behind obedience, and obedience is often demanded at the most inconvenient moment. That is why timing matters so much right now. That is why this message feels urgent in your spirit. Anointed. 1. Heaven is not just watching your actions, heaven is responding to them. The moment you obey, things in the unseen begin to shift. Conversations start that you will never hear. People begin thinking of you who haven't considered you in years. Resources begin flowing toward the place your obedience is pointing. Provision recognizes movement, and movement is what heaven is asking from you tonight. There is a door before you that is not locked, only sealed. The seal is obedience. The moment you obey, the seal breaks, and what has been waiting behind that door begins to flow into your life. Not trickle flow, not gradually, swiftly. I've watched God turn financial drought into overflow in ways that made no logical sense. I've watched him accelerate someone's income after years of stagnation simply because they obeyed a single instruction. I've lived it. I've witnessed it. And now, chosen one, you are standing at the threshold of that same kind of supernatural shift. This moment is sacred. Treat it as such. The instruction may seem small, the step may feel uncomfortable, but the breakthrough attached to it is larger than you imagine. Take a breath. Quiet your thoughts. Tune your spirit, because heaven is still speaking, and the next part of this word is going to reach even deeper. Chosen one. As we move into this next depth of the message, I want you to understand something that most people never realize. Every financial breakthrough is spiritual before it ever becomes natural. Money doesn't move first. Heaven moves first. And right now, heaven is moving in your direction with an intensity that matches the assignment on your life. You are not stepping into a season of random blessings, anointed one. You are stepping into a season of intentional alignment where everything that once resisted you is losing its grip. The warfare that has surrounded your income is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of value. Hell never guards empty vaults. Every delay you've experienced, every closed door, every unexpected setback was a sign that something powerful was being protected, both in you and for you. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I believed that financial pressure meant God was displeased with me. I assumed that lack was punishment and resistance was rejection. But over time, through prayer mistakes and holy frustration, God taught me that delay is not always denial. Sometimes delay is development. Sometimes provision waits until your character can carry what your calling demands. And sometimes delay exists because the enemy is terrified of the impact you will have once you are fully funded. That is the truth. Hell never wants you to discover you are dangerous when you are resourced. A resourced, chosen one builds, gives shifts, atmospheres, breaks generational patterns and advances kingdom purpose. That is why your finances have been targeted so fiercely. Chosen one. I need you to recognize the strategy behind the struggle. The enemy has not been after your money. He has been after your momentum. If he could keep you doubting, hesitating, or questioning yourself, he could slow down the very thing God ordained to accelerate. But you survived the doubt. You survived the confusion. You survived the season where nothing made sense. And now, because you endured the moment you obey, things will unfold faster than you can calculate. Heaven always accelerates those who don't quit. Do you know what shifted everything for me? It wasn't a miracle check. It wasn't a sudden open door. It wasn't someone rescuing me. It was one moment of raw, unfiltered obedience. One moment where I said, God, I don't understand it, but I will move. And that single step, tiny, inconvenient, unseen by everyone else, broke a seal in the spirit. Within days, opportunities I didn't chase began chasing me. Ideas that I had forgotten resurfaced with clarity. People who once overlooked me suddenly remembered me. Provision didn't drip in, it poured in. That's when I realized obedience is the currency heaven responds to. Anointed one, heaven is waiting for your move. You've prayed enough. You've analyzed enough. You've replayed your mistakes enough. The next breakthrough is not in more thinking, it is in movement. That is why this message feels like it is speaking directly into your chest. That is why you feel that tightening, that stirring, that holy discomfort. It is not fear. It is your spirit recognizing that a divine moment is opening, and divine moments do not stay open indefinitely. This is your midnight window, your appointed hour, the moment where your yes carries more spiritual weight than usual. Think about the times in your life when you felt the nudge to act, but ignored it. Do you remember how long the next opportunity took to appear? Divine timing is not a punishment, but it is precise. When heaven opens a window, it's because alignment has reached its peak. Everything you prayed for, everything you endured, everything you lost, everything you learned, they all converge into a single moment of activation. That is the moment you are living in right now. Chosen one. Something else is happening that you may not fully perceive. Heaven is rearranging your spiritual environment. Even now, resistance is being stripped, confusion is being silenced, angelic assistance is being assigned to you. There is strategy forming around your name. I've seen this kind of shift before in my own life, in the lives of people I've guided, in the testimonies of those who dared to obey before understanding. Every time the result was undeniable, obedience opened what effort could not. And I feel led to tell you something very personal. There was a day when I had only two options: surrender to fear or surrender to God. Everything in the natural looked impossible. My income was inconsistent, my confidence was shaken, and my faith felt exhausted. But deep inside, I knew heaven was asking for one action, one seed, one step, one conversation, one release. I argued, I delayed, I justified. But the instruction never left my spirit. The moment I obeyed, the breakthrough wasn't gradual, it was immediate. Not because I earned it, but because that moment was the one heaven had been waiting on. Chosen. One heaven is now waiting on you. Not in pressure, but in expectation. Not in judgment, but in partnership. Your next level is not waiting on better conditions, it is waiting on your obedience. You are closer to overflow than you realize, and when you move, everything moves with you. Chosen one. As we continue, I want you to feel the shift that is unfolding around you even now. There is a reason the atmosphere feels heavier, not with burden, but with significance. You are not just listening to words, you are being positioned. Heaven is drawing you into a moment that will mark the rest of your financial journey. And whether you realize it or not, your spirit is already responding. Sometimes your mind lags behind what your spirit already knows. Your spirit recognizes divine timing long before your logic catches up. That uneasy sensation, that sudden clarity, that internal nudge you've been feeling, those are signs that heaven has issued a summons. Not a suggestion, a summons. A call to step into something bigger than what you've been living. When I look back at the moments that transformed me, they did not arrive wrapped in comfort. They came disguised as interruptions, as inconveniences, as instructions that challenged everything I thought I understood about timing and readiness. There was a day when I was standing at the edge of what felt like absolute failure. Bills were stacking, opportunities were collapsing, and the more I tried to fix everything in my own strength, the deeper I seemed to sink. But then, in that discouraging valley came a whisper, subtle but unmistakably divine. The whisper didn't offer solutions, it offered an instruction, something painfully simple, something embarrassingly small, yet something terrifying because of how specific it felt. I delayed for weeks, convincing myself it couldn't possibly matter, and I paid the price of delay: stagnant finances, unnecessary stress, missed opportunities. Until one day, exhausted by trying to manage life on my own terms, I surrendered, I obeyed. And within days, not months, doors opened that had been sealed for years. It taught me something I carry with me to this day. Heaven waits on obedience, not perfection. Chosen one. Your breakthrough is not waiting on a more ideal economy, a better job, a higher paycheck, or a more convenient moment. Your breakthrough is waiting on your alignment. The enemy knows that once you align, he loses access. That's why confusion has been targeting your mind. That's why fear has been whispering worst-case scenarios. That's why doubt has been replaying every financial mistake you've ever made. The attack isn't random, it's strategic. You are too close to overflow for darkness to sit quietly. But hear me clearly, the very intensity of the warfare is the confirmation of your nearness to breakthrough. You don't feel pressure at the beginning of a battle, you feel it at the turning point. And chosen one, you are standing in your turning point. There is an old pattern breaking off your life. Something that has kept you small, hesitant, or bound is being confronted by the authority of this word. You are being pulled out of cycles that generations before you never escaped. You are being drawn into a level of financial grace that does not run through your bloodline, it runs through your obedience. You were not chosen because you were the strongest, wealthiest, or most qualified. You were chosen because your spirit was willing to hear what others ignored. You were chosen because you didn't quit when quitting felt justified. You were chosen because heaven could trust you with increase. And I know, trust me, I know how hard it can be to walk in obedience when your past is screaming that nothing ever changes. I remember praying for breakthrough while living in a tiny apartment that felt like a cage. I remember asking God for direction while working a job that drained me. I remember wanting to sow a seed when I barely had enough to cover basic expenses. But every time God asked for obedience, He was not trying to take something from me. He was trying to unseal something for me. And chosen one, He is trying to unseal something for you right now. You keep asking for confirmation, for a sign, for reassurance. But what if the very discomfort you feel is the sign? What if the very message you are hearing is the confirmation? What if the only thing left is your yes? Heaven does not repeat instructions without reason. When God highlights something multiple times, it means the window of opportunity is open, but not indefinitely. Divine timing is generous, but it is not endless. If you feel urgency, it is because something prepared in heaven is ready to be released on earth. Chosen one, your financial identity is changing. You are no longer someone who scrapes by. You are no longer someone who apologizes for dreaming. You are no longer someone who doubts their worthiness of abundance. You are stepping into the identity of someone who is trusted with wealth, favored with opportunities, and aligned with divine purpose. And with this identity comes a shift in responsibility, not heavier responsibility, but higher responsibility. The responsibility to obey when God speaks. The responsibility to move even when you don't feel ready. The responsibility to let go of who you were in order to step into who you are becoming. Anointed one, heaven is leaning in. Destiny is leaning in. Your future is leaning in. And the next movement you make will determine what unfolds next. This is your hour of obedience. This is your window of release. This is your moment to say yes, not later, not someday, but now. Chosen one. As we continue, I want you to notice something that is already shifting inside you. Your spirit is no longer passive. It is alert, awakened, stirred in a way you cannot explain. That is the sign of a divine encounter taking root. When heaven speaks something inside, you rises to attention, not your mind, not your emotions, but the deepest part of you that recognizes truth before it fully understands it. That inner rising is happening right now because the word being released over your life is not casual. It is directional, it is instructional, it is transformational, and most importantly, it is time sensitive. Heaven is calling you into a moment that is not repeating itself in the same way again. But here's the part. Many people miss breakthrough, rarely enters through the front door. It sneaks in through obedience. It arrives disguised as inconvenience. It shows up asking for a yes when your circumstances seem to demand a no. And yet, every major shift in Scripture and every major shift in my own life started with a simple decision, the decision to move in faith before I understood the full picture. There is something God is asking you to do, chosen one, and you have felt it for a long time now. It may look small, it may feel insignificant, but heaven does not measure the size of an instruction. Heaven measures the surrender behind it. I remember a time when everything around me looked impossible. Finances were tight, my confidence was low, and the future felt foggy. I prayed for breakthrough, but heaven was silent. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into discouragement. Then, one quiet morning out of nowhere, a thought surfaced, not loud, not dramatic, but unmistakably divine. It was a simple instruction, one that made no sense to my natural mind. I argued with it. I questioned it. I tried to dismiss it. But it kept returning, tapping me on the inside like a gentle knock that refused to go away. Eventually, I obeyed, not because I fully believed, but because I was too tired to fight the voice of God. And that obedience cracked open a door I didn't even know existed. Within 48 hours, opportunities and financial provision began to flow in ways that I could never have engineered on my own. That moment taught me something I will never forget. Obedience does not require understanding. It requires trust. Chosen one. Trust is what heaven is demanding of you now. Not blind trust, but prophetic trust. The kind of trust that recognizes that the one who is leading you sees the entire path, even if you only see the next step. The enemy has tried to convince you that uncertainty is danger, but in the kingdom, uncertainty is often instruction. God rarely shows the whole picture, because revelation without obedience leads to pride. But revelation that unfolds step by step leads to transformation. You are in the transformation phase. That is why your life feels stretched. That is why your mind has been wrestling. That is why your heart keeps being pulled towards something new. You are not being overwhelmed, you are being upgraded. And upgrades always interrupt comfort. Heaven is upgrading your vision, your finances, your spiritual authority, and your capacity. But the upgrade cannot be installed without your yes. Heaven honors obedience, not hesitation. Anointed one, think about what you've survived to get here. Think about the nights you cried, the weeks you struggled, the months where things didn't add up. Think about how many times you almost gave up, and yet something you could not name kept pulling you forward. That something was the hand of God steadying you, sustaining you, positioning you for this exact moment. You didn't come through all of that just to go back into cycles of lack or fear. You came through it so you could finally step into overflow with wisdom, gratitude, and discernment. But let me tell you something from my own story. Overflow is not random. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. Overflow is activated by obedience. When God gives an instruction, it is because the miracle has already been prepared. When God highlights a step, it is because the provision connected to that step is already waiting. When God stirs your spirit the way He is stirring you right now, it is because the moment has matured. The seed is ready. The door is unlocked. The atmosphere is aligned. All that remains is your movement. And I know that movement sometimes feels risky. I know that stepping into the unknown can activate fear. I know that when your past has been full of disappointment, trusting a new instruction feels terrifying. But hear me with your spirit, chosen one. This is not the same season. This is not the same you. And this is not the same instruction you've ignored before. There is a supernatural weight on this moment, the kind of weight that only appears when heaven is ready to release something big. You are closer to breakthrough than you realize. Your income shift is not a distant dream. It is already in motion. The resistance you've been feeling is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign to advance. The enemy does not fight what is failing. He fights what is rising. Chosen one, you are rising, and obedience is the final key. Chosen one, as we move into this next depth of the word, I want you to feel how heaven has been preparing you, not just for increase, but for identity. Because financial elevation without identity becomes instability. But financial elevation with a healed, aligned, spiritually awakened identity becomes unstoppable momentum. You are not simply being blessed, you are being rebuilt, redefined, and repositioned. This is why the warfare intensified before this message reached you. This is why confusion suddenly surrounded your finances. This is why old fears resurfaced. These were not signs of collapse. They were signs of construction. Heaven was making room in you for what is coming to you. I remember a season in my own journey where the blessings I prayed for felt delayed, not because I was unfaithful, but because I was unprepared. I didn't yet see myself as someone who could carry wealth with wisdom. I didn't see myself as someone God could trust with influence. I kept praying for provision, but my identity was still shaped by survival. And heaven knew that giving overflow to someone who still thinks like a survivor would only burden them, not bless them. So instead of sending money, God sent moments that forced me to confront my patterns, my habits, my fears, my hesitation, my procrastination, my tendency to shrink when I should step forward. Looking back now, I see that heaven was not withholding provision. Heaven was preparing me to hold it without losing myself. Chosen one, that is what God has been doing with you. All the stretching, all the waiting, all the refining, it wasn't cruelty, it was craftsmanship. You were being shaped for supernatural stewardship. You were being trained to manage abundance instead of reacting to lack. And now that your identity is shifting, your provision is shifting with it. Heaven always upgrades in order. First identity, then instruction, then increase. You are living in the space between instruction and increase, where obedience becomes the bridge. But let me tell you something personal that changed my entire relationship with provision. God will never release into your hands what your habits will sabotage. That realization humbled me. It forced me to look at the places I was still leaking blessing. Fear was a leak. Delay was a leak. Doubt was a leak. Overspending, procrastination, people-pleasing, saying yes when I should say no, all leaks. Heaven wasn't punishing me. Heaven was plugging the leaks so that when the flood came, I would be able to hold it. And chosen one, that is exactly what heaven is doing in you. This is why your spirit feels like it's being shaken awake. This is why your comfort zones feel too small. This is why your excuses no longer soothe you. Heaven is maturing you because heaven is about to fund you. You are not entering a season of random blessings. You're entering a season of strategic supply. Divine provision is not chaotic. It is calculated. It arrives when the vessel is ready. And your vessel, chosen one, is ready. When I finally understood this, something inside me broke open. I stopped praying for money alone and started praying for alignment. I stopped asking God, when will you bless me? And started asking God, who do I need to become to sustain the blessing? And the moment I shifted that question, everything shifted around me. Opportunities that once ignored me suddenly noticed me. People who once overlooked me suddenly valued me. Strategies I couldn't see before suddenly became clear. Provision didn't come because I chased it. Provision came because I became someone it could chase. Chosen one. Your provision is about to chase you. Not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because you are stepping into alignment with who heaven says you are. And hear me, you are not who your past says you are. You are not who your failures say you are. You are not who your bank account says you are. You are who heaven has been shaping you to be: chosen, appointed, refined, trusted. But here's something else I've learned. Every shift in identity requires a shift in action. You cannot think like the old you and step into the new you. You cannot obey with the hesitation of your past and expect the acceleration of your future. Heaven is asking for immediate obedience because you are standing at a prophetic intersection. One direction leads back into cycles you've already outgrown. The other direction leads into the unknown, but that unknown is where your increase is waiting. This is why the instruction God gave you hasn't left your spirit. It hovers, it returns, it whispers at inconvenient times. That is heaven's way of saying, this step matters more than you know. The obedience heaven is asking for may look small, but its impact will be supernatural. A seed doesn't reflect the size of the harvest, it only reflects the beginning of it. And I'll tell you the truth, every time I ignored a divine instruction, my life stayed still. Every time I obeyed, even with trembling hands and uncertainty, something broke open, something moved, something accelerated. I have never not once regretted obedience, but I have deeply regretted the delays caused by my hesitation. Chosen one. Your hesitation season ends now. Your identity has been upgraded. Your spirit is awake. Your readiness is real. Heaven sees you as someone who can be trusted with overflow, and heaven is asking for your yes, your full, immediate, unrestrained yes. Because what comes after your obedience won't just change your finances, it will change your future. Chosen one. As we step further into this divine unfolding, I want you to pay close attention to the inner shifts happening within you right now. Because whether you realize it or not, your spirit is responding faster than your mind. Your spirit already knows that this is not just another message. This is not something you stumbled into. This is a moment that was written into your timeline long before you ever needed it. And right now, heaven is illuminating the places in your life that must shift so your provision can finally flow without resistance. What many people never understand is that breakthrough does not begin when circumstances change. Breakthrough begins the moment you change. It starts the moment your inner world aligns with what heaven has already declared over you. For so long, you have carried battles, silently, financial battles, emotional battles, spiritual battles, thinking they were isolated, thinking they were random, but they were all connected to one thing, the calling on your life. The enemy has not been fighting your finances. He has been fighting your future. And the reason the pressure intensified recently is because you finally reached the spiritual maturity required to step into what God has been preparing for you all along. I remember a particular season where nothing seemed to move in my life. I prayed, I believed, I fasted, but everything felt stuck. At first, I thought God was ignoring me. Then I thought maybe I had done something wrong. But the truth was, far more profound heaven was waiting for me to rise into who I truly was. I was praying like someone hoping for breakthrough, but heaven was requiring me to pray like someone who expected it. I was showing up like someone afraid of failure, when heaven needed me to show up like someone who had already overcome. Once that revelation hit me, I stopped negotiating with fear. I stopped handing the enemy access to my mind. I stopped shrinking my obedience to fit my insecurities. And something shifted, not in the physical realm first, but in the spiritual realm. Once the spiritual atmosphere changed, everything else began to move. Chosen one. The same shift is happening in you. You are awakening into a new authority, a new confidence, a new spiritual posture. You may not see the full transformation yet, but heaven sees it. The way you listen is changing. The way you discern is changing. The way you respond to spiritual instruction is changing. And those internal changes are announcing something powerful. You are ready for the increase you once doubted you could carry. But let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Every new level requires new discipline. Not rigid discipline, prophetic discipline. The kind of discipline that comes from revelation, not routine. The kind that flows from clarity, not pressure. When God begins shifting your financial atmosphere, He also begins shifting your habits. For me, it started subtly. I suddenly lost the desire to engage in certain conversations that drained my faith. I became uncomfortable with environments that didn't match my spiritual growth. I felt a tug to organize areas of my life that had been chaotic for years. These weren't random impulses, they were signals that heaven was preparing me to steward greater provision. You may be feeling some of those same signals. Maybe you've noticed that you are no longer entertained by things that once distracted you. Maybe you recently felt convicted about procrastination or overspending or surrounding yourself with people who drain your spirit instead of feeding it. Maybe you've been feeling pulled towards structure, clarity, or silence. These are not personality shifts. These are spiritual upgrades. When heaven chooses to increase you, heaven first chooses to discipline you, not with punishment, but with alignment. Because abundance requires alignment just as surely as a seed requires soil. And I feel something strongly for you, chosen. 1. You are stepping out of mental chaos. The fog that has followed you for months is lifting. The confusion that once clouded your decisions is breaking. The thoughts that once circled endlessly without rest are settling. This clarity is not accidental. This is the clarity that comes right before God releases instruction and right before obedience unlocks increase. Let me share a personal moment that changed everything for me. There was a day when my mind was noisy with doubt. I woke up feeling defeated before the day even began. I questioned every decision, every plan, every step. But then, unexpectedly, I felt a stillness wash over me, the kind of stillness that doesn't come from relaxation, but from revelation. In that stillness, I heard one sentence in my spirit: "You are not who the struggle made you. You are who I called you to be." That sentence broke something off me. It restored authority. It restored identity. It restored my willingness to obey. From that moment, obedience became easier because it flowed from identity, not insecurity. Chosen one, you are entering that same stillness. Heaven is revealing who you are beyond struggle, beyond lack, beyond delay. And as heaven reveals you to yourself, obedience will no longer feel like sacrifice. It will feel like alignment. You will not obey out of fear. You will obey out of expectation. You will not obey because you feel pressured. You will obey because you feel prepared. And once obedience flows from identity, increase becomes inevitable. You are being positioned. You are being refined. You are being strengthened for what comes next. Let every word settle deeply within you, because heaven is preparing to speak even more clearly in the next phase. Chosen one. As we continue into this next depth, I want you to recognize something sacred. You are no longer listening with the same ears you had when this message first began. Your spirit has expanded. Your discernment has sharpened. Your inner posture has shifted from survival to receptivity, from hesitation to readiness. This is what happens when heaven begins aligning a person with their next level. Their inner world transforms before anything external catches up. And right now, that transformation is accelerating in you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel the atmosphere around your life cracking open. You can sense that something is rearranging itself in your favor. That sensation is not imagination. It is evidence. Evidence that heaven is drawing near, that breakthrough is stepping closer, that the old cycles are weakening under the weight of what God is preparing to release. What I've learned through my own journey is that there are moments, holy moments, when heaven does more in a few minutes than years of effort could ever achieve. I spent so many seasons trying to fix my finances with logic, discipline, hustle, and strategy. And while those things have value, they could not touch the areas of my life that were bound spiritually. Money problems are rarely just money problems. They are emotional patterns, spiritual blocks, childhood beliefs, inherited mindsets, and unseen warfare wrapped into practical symptoms. And until God addressed those deeper roots, no amount of budgeting could create overflow. When God finally confronted me with this truth, I realized that the miracle I needed wasn't outside, it was inside. The transformation had to begin there. Chosen one, heaven is working on your inside right now. There are old beliefs being uprooted, beliefs that told you you were unworthy of wealth, unqualified for increase, or destined for struggle. Those lies are breaking because the truth is rising louder. There are emotional patterns being dismantled, patterns that made you self-sabotage every time you felt close to blessing. Those patterns are crumbling because your spirit refuses to live small anymore. There are spiritual blockages being shattered, places where the enemy whispered lack into your identity, hoping you'd adopt it as truth. Those whispers are being silenced because your authority is awakening. And all of this internal restructuring is happening for a reason. Heaven cannot pour new provision into an old identity. You must become the vessel that matches the level of blessing God is releasing. I remember a season where God told me, "You are praying for financial increase, but your identity is praying for financial survival." That sentence shook me. It exposed how deeply I had accepted struggle as my normal. I wasn't believing for overflow, I was just believing to get by. I wasn't asking for abundance, I was asking for relief. And heaven had to elevate my identity before heaven could elevate my income. Once I began seeing myself as someone chosen for impact, chosen for increase, chosen for purpose, my prayers changed, my obedience changed, my mindset changed. And that internal shift created a spiritual permission for external provision. Chosen one, that same shift is happening in you. You may not see the whole transformation yet, but your spirit already feels it. Your decisions are becoming more intentional. Your self-worth is rising. Your capacity to receive is expanding. Even the way you think about money is shifting. You no longer see money as something that controls you. You are beginning to see it as something heaven entrusts to you. And when heaven trusts a person with resources, that trust always comes with supernatural backing. But there is something else heaven wants you to understand. In this moment, increase requires atmosphere. Provision flows where faith is active. Breakthrough manifests where obedience is present. Acceleration lands where hesitation has been removed. That is why God has been nudging you to cleanse your environment, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. Some conversations no longer fit you. Some relationships no longer align with you. Some distractions no longer interest you. Some patterns no longer feel comfortable. This is not because you are losing yourself. It is because you are meeting your upgraded self. You are stepping into a version of you that can handle more, carry more, and steward more. And this new version requires a new atmosphere. Think of it this way: seeds don't struggle to grow. They struggle when the soil is wrong. The seed in you, your gifts, your calling, your financial destiny has always been powerful. The problem was the soil of doubt, the soil of fear, the soil of delay, the soil of old environments. Heaven is changing all of that now. Heaven is making your soil fertile again. Heaven is preparing you to receive without resistance. Heaven is positioning you to multiply instead of merely maintain. Chosen one, you are rising into a level of spiritual sensitivity that only comes before major breakthrough. You are hearing God more clearly. You are feeling instructions more strongly. You are sensing urgency more deeply. These are all signs that your appointed time is drawing near. And as your spirit aligns, obedience becomes easier, faster, and more joyful, not because the instruction changes, but because you do. This is your awakening. This is your alignment. And what heaven is preparing to reveal next will take you even further into the heart of your assignment. Chosen one. As we continue into this next dimension of the message, I want you to understand something profoundly important by this point in your journey. Heaven is no longer trying to convince you, heaven is preparing you. When a word reaches this depth, it means something in the spirit has already shifted, and now the shift must reach your awareness. You may have thought you were simply listening, but your spirit has been absorbing, awakening, and aligning with every sentence. There is a reason you haven't clicked away. There is a reason your heart feels stirred in places you can't quite explain. Your spirit recognizes that what's being released is not information, but impartation. And impartation doesn't inform, it transforms. You, chosen one, are being ushered into a new spiritual posture, a posture of authority, a posture of financial sovereignty, a posture where you no longer beg heaven for scraps, because you finally realize you are connected to the source. And the source does not ration. The source does not withhold. The source does not trickle. The source flows freely, abundantly, consistently. But to stand in that flow, your spirit must be trained to remain open, obedient, and anchored. That's what the shaking in your life has been about, heaven anchoring you so deeply that the winds of lack can no longer uproot you. I remember a time when every financial setback felt like a personal failure, when every unexpected bill sent me into panic, when lack wasn't just around me, it lived in my thoughts. Even when I earned more, the fear of losing it kept me from enjoying it. That's when God confronted me, not with condemnation, but with clarity. I heard these words in my spirit: you cannot carry abundance with a survival mindset. That truth broke me open. I realized that the enemy had been targeting my mind long before he targeted my money. Because if he could keep my identity small, my obedience would shrink with it. And if obedience shrinks, blessing stalls. It wasn't that God didn't want to bless me, it was that I wasn't postured to receive without fear. That revelation became the beginning of my financial healing. Chosen. One Heaven is bringing you into that healing right now. You are being delivered from the kind of inner poverty that convinces you to apologize for wanting more. You're being delivered from the kind of fear that tells you increase is dangerous. You're being delivered from the guilt that whispers you are unworthy of financial stability or abundance. Let me tell you the truth. You were created with purpose, and purpose is expensive. Calling requires resources. Impact requires supply. Assignment requires access. Heaven is not simply giving you money. Heaven is equipping you for your mission. And anything tied to divine assignment is protected, expanded, and multiplied under divine authority. But I want to share something deeply personal, something that many people don't admit. The greatest battles I ever faced financially were not battles in my bank account. They were battles in my beliefs. I had to unlearn stories that were handed down to me. Stories that said good people should stay small. Stories that said ambition is dangerous. Stories that said wealth is rare and only for the lucky. Stories that said wanting more makes you ungrateful. These were not truths. They were chains, and heaven will never pour abundance into chained hands. When God broke those chains in me, He didn't just restore my finances. He restored my identity, my confidence, and my capacity to steward increase without fear. Chosen. One Heaven is breaking those chains in you right now. You may not fully see it yet, but your desires are shifting. You are beginning to feel worthy of overflow. You are beginning to see money as a tool, not a threat. You are beginning to detach your value from your financial condition. You are beginning to understand that abundance is not greed, it's grace. Grace to live. Grace, to give grace, to build grace, to fulfill the assignment on your life. And the enemy is terrified of this revelation taking root in you because a chosen one who understands their worth becomes unstoppable. But I want to take you deeper. Your financial rise is not only about you, it's about the generational impact you're called to make. The enemy didn't fight you because of your present, he fought you because of your future. He saw who you would become if you ever broke free from lack. He saw the businesses you would start, the families you would bless, the dreams you would fund, the souls you would support, the legacy you would build. He saw the ripple effect of your breakthrough, and he panicked. That is why the warfare targeting your finances felt so personal. It wasn't personal, it was prophetic, chosen. One, hear me clearly, you are the first in your bloodline to break this cycle. You are the interruption to generational poverty. You are the shift your ancestors prayed for. You are the testimony your children will inherit. You are the one heaven has chosen to stand in the gap and reverse everything lack tried to destroy. And this transformation, this word, this stirring, this awakening is evidence that heaven has begun pouring the strength, wisdom, and anointing needed to sustain your elevation. You may feel like your breakthrough has taken too long, but heaven works in fullness, not in fragments. And your fullness is approaching. You are being prepared, strengthened, refined, and stabilized so that when increase arrives, you will not crumble under its weight. You will carry it with grace. You will steward it with intention. You will multiply it with wisdom. Chosen one, you are being stretched into someone who doesn't just receive abundance, you become abundance. Chosen one. As we continue into this next movement of the word, I want you to feel how heaven is not only speaking to you, but building you. There is a construction happening in your spirit, quiet, steady, undeniable. You may not have language for it yet, but something in you knows that you are not the same person who began listening earlier. Your posture has changed. Your awareness has sharpened. Your faith has matured. This is spiritual architecture, the kind that prepares a person to carry what they once only prayed for. Heaven does not release weight without first strengthening the vessel, and right now, heaven is strengthening you not through force, but through revelation. You are being taught how to think like someone who is chosen, how to respond like someone who is appointed, how to obey like someone who is trusted. This formation is part of your wealth transfer. The transformation inside you is just as important as the resources being prepared around you. When I reflect on my own journey, I see how often I used to pray for blessings that my character was not yet ready to sustain. I asked God to enlarge my territory while still living with a mindset shaped by scarcity. I prayed for financial increase while making decisions rooted in fear. I wanted overflow, but I behaved like someone expecting drought. And heaven in its mercy waited, not because I was unworthy, but because I was unready. Blessings released too early become burdens, and God loves us too much to give us something that would crush us. It took me years to understand this. I kept thinking the delay was punishment, but it was protection. It was preparation. It was heaven saying, I need you whole, so the blessing does not break you. And chosen one, that is exactly what has been happening in your life. There were seasons where doors did not open because you would have walked through them still carrying old wounds. There were opportunities that passed by because your confidence had not yet been fortified. There were financial blessings withheld because your identity was still shaped by what you survived instead of who you were becoming. Heaven was not withholding, heaven was healing. And now that the healing has begun to anchor itself inside you, the blessing is drawing near. You are not behind schedule. You are right on divine timing, and divine timing is always precise, always strategic, always purposeful. What God is preparing to release into your life requires the strength, clarity, and maturity you carry today. Strength you did not have before clarity, you could not access before maturity, you had to fight to develop. Chosen one. This is why your recent battles felt strangely targeted. The enemy was not after your money, he was after your readiness. If he could distract you, he could delay you. If he could discourage you, he could exhaust you before the blessing arrived. If he could confuse you, he could make you question the very instructions meant to unlock your provision. But you are still here. And not only are you still here, you are spiritually sharper than you've ever been. The devil threw confusion. You found clarity. He threw distraction. You found focus. He threw discouragement. You found resilience. Every attack that was meant to weaken you has become evidence that you were approaching a moment hell could not afford for you to reach. And yet, you reached it. But now, heaven needs one final shift in you, the shift from waiting to walking. Waiting is passive, walking is prophetic. Waiting says, I hope something happens. Walking says, I know heaven has already moved, and now it's my turn. The instruction God placed in your spirit, the one you felt, the one you've sensed, the one you haven't been able to ignore, that is your first step. And heaven is waiting for your step, because provision has already taken its step toward you. Obedience is not the price you pay for blessing. Obedience is the alignment that allows blessing to find you without resistance. I want to share something from my own path. There was a moment when God told me to make a move that scared me. It wasn't huge, but it required trust. I delayed it for weeks. The more I delayed, the heavier life felt, like everything was tightening around me. When I finally obeyed, it was as if a spiritual dam broke. Everything that had been stuck began to flow, unexpected income restored connections, strategies I hadn't been able to see before. That moment taught me that obedience is often the key that unlocks long-awaited release. Not effort, not striving, not forcing. Obedience. 1. Heaven is inviting you into that same kind of release. The kind that doesn't trickle, it floods. The kind that doesn't shift gradually, it shifts suddenly. And you will know it is heaven because the moment you obey, the resistance breaks. The fog clears, the atmosphere lifts, and what once felt impossible becomes accessible. You are closer than you think. You are stronger than you know. You are more aligned than you realize. And heaven is preparing to reveal what comes next with power, clarity, and divine precision. Chosen one. As we move into this next unveiling, I want you to understand the magnitude of what heaven is doing inside you right now. You are being drawn out of an old spiritual frequency and elevated into a realm where your decisions carry more authority, your obedience carries more weight, and your presence carries more impact. This is not theoretical. This is not symbolic. This is spiritual reality reshaping the landscape of your life. When God begins preparing someone for supernatural increase, especially financial increase, the preparation always begins in the unseen. The shift is felt long before it is visible. And you, anointed one, have been feeling this shift for weeks, maybe even months. You couldn't explain it to others, but your spirit understood something is coming, and my life cannot remain the same. There is a moment in every chosen person's journey where the transition becomes undeniable. Your old ways of thinking no longer fit. Your old habits no longer satisfy. Your old fears no longer have the same power. It's like trying to squeeze into a room you've outgrown. Everything feels tight, narrow, uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a sign that you're failing. It's proof that you're expanding. Heaven stretches you before heaven elevates you. And right now, heaven is stretching you into someone who can carry the weight of greater responsibility, greater opportunity, and greater provision. You are not just being blessed, you are being prepared to manage blessing without losing your peace or your purpose. I remember a moment in my own walk when I felt this same spiritual stretching. I didn't have the language for it at the time, but I could feel myself being pulled into a higher version of who I was meant to be. There were things I used to tolerate that suddenly felt draining. There were people I used to lean on who suddenly felt distant. There were environments I once felt comfortable in that suddenly felt too small. At first, I questioned everything. I wondered if I was being isolated, rejected, or abandoned. But then the Spirit revealed something profound. I cannot elevate you while you're still anchored to places I'm calling you out of. That realization changed everything. Heaven wasn't removing comfort. Heaven was removing limitation. Chosen one. Some of the discomfort you've been feeling is heaven unplugging you from old cycles. You can't carry divine provision while staying emotionally, mentally, or spiritually tied to places of scarcity. You were not designed to survive. Your spirit was designed to reign. And reigning requires separation from anything that damages your faith, steals your peace, or suffocates your obedience. That is why certain relationships have shifted. That is why some conversations feel heavier than before. That is why you felt a sudden need for silence at times. Heaven is detoxing your atmosphere so that your hearing becomes clearer, your decisions become sharper, and your obedience becomes immediate. But here's something many people overlook. Increase comes with responsibility. Not the heavy kind that burdens you, but the sacred kind that grows you. When God entrusts you with more, He does so because He sees a version of you that you haven't fully met, yet stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more spiritually aware. And the process you're going through right now is heaven introducing you to that version of yourself. You are stepping into a level where you won't just manage money, you will steward wealth. You won't just pay bills, you will fund callings. You won't just survive, you will build. You will create. You will sow. You will influence. You will shift atmospheres simply by showing up aligned with God's purpose. Anointed. 1. There is something else happening, something deeply significant. Your relationship with obedience is being refined. Before, obedience may have felt like sacrifice. It may have felt like something you had to force yourself into. But as your identity shifts, obedience becomes natural. It becomes a reflex of faith. It becomes a joyful response instead of a fearful reaction. When you truly understand that every instruction from heaven carries supernatural backing, obedience no longer feels risky. It feels safe. It feels like alignment. It feels like stepping into a stream that was waiting for you all along. I cannot emphasize this enough. Obedience is the gateway to your next level. Not obedience based on fear, but obedience rooted in revelation. When you obey from revelation, you move with confidence because you know heaven has already gone ahead of you. I've lived long enough to see that the greatest miracles in my life, financial, spiritual, emotional, did not come from my striving. They came from my yes. My yes when I didn't feel ready. My yes when the instruction made no sense. My yes when fear whispered louder than faith. Every breakthrough I've ever experienced can be traced back to a moment where I simply obeyed. That same pattern is unfolding in your life, chosen one. You are being groomed into someone whose decisions unlock supernatural doors. You are being strengthened into someone who can walk through opportunities others would collapse under. You are being molded into someone heaven can trust with more because you are not controlled by fear, pride, or hesitation. The qualities heaven has been cultivating in you, resilience, clarity, humility, discernment, are the very qualities required to carry divine provision without compromise. And I feel this strongly, your future is already responding to your shift. What you are stepping into will not look like your past. What God is preparing for you will not resemble what you've endured. You are walking into a season where obedience opens doors so quickly that you will barely have time to catch your breath. A season where provision becomes confirmation. A season where heaven's timing aligns with your readiness in perfect synchrony. Chosen. One, heaven is not simply preparing a blessing for you. Heaven is preparing you for the blessing. Chosen one. As we step into this final movement of the body content, I want you to recognize the holy gravity of where you now stand. You are not at the beginning of a message, you are at the threshold of transformation. Every word that has been spoken has been chiseling away the limitations that once defined you, carving out the space needed for heaven's next release. You may not realize it fully yet, but your spirit knows something irreversible has awakened in you. Something that will not allow you to shrink back into old cycles of doubt, fear, or delay. Something that is pushing you toward obedience with a force that feels both gentle and unstoppable. This is what it feels like when heaven prepares to seal a word inside you. There comes a moment when the prophetic is no longer just spoken, it becomes embodied. You begin to walk differently. You begin to perceive differently. You begin to choose differently. And though you may not be able to explain it, others will soon sense it too. They will notice a certainty in you, a steadiness, a confidence that is not loud but undeniable. This is what happens when heaven rewires your identity from the inside out. And chosen one, you are being rewired into someone who carries wealth with wisdom, purpose with purity, and power with humility. I want you to hear this with every part of your being. Your old relationship with money has died. The version of you that was shaped by struggle, scarcity, and self-doubt no longer exists in the same form. You may still feel remnants of that old identity, like echoes fading in the distance, but echoes are not reality, they are memories. Heaven has been shifting your financial reality long before the numbers change in your bank account. The shift always happens internally first, because the inner world is what determines the longevity of the outer blessing. And you, anointed one, have finally stepped into the internal posture that can sustain overflow. But let me take you deeper, because this is the part most people never see. When God is preparing someone for financial increase, He does not begin by adding. He begins by clearing. Clearing old beliefs, clearing emotional clutter, clearing spiritual debris, clearing relational attachments that drain rather than feed, clearing habits that leak blessing. This clearing can feel like loss, but it is actually divine pruning. And pruning is not punishment. Pruning is preparation for greater fruitfulness. You have been pruned spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and relationally. And now, heaven is ready to begin the adding. In one of the most transformative seasons of my life, God told me something I will never forget. Before I increase your resources, I must expand your responsibility. At first, I resisted. I thought responsibility meant burden, but heaven redefined it for me. Responsibility is not weight, it is capacity. It is the enlargement of the soul, so that when increase arrives, it has room to stay. And chosen one, heaven has been enlarging your capacity. You have endured seasons that stretched you emotionally, seasons that refined your faith. seasons that forced you to confront limits and lies you didn't know you still carried. All of it was God making room for what is coming. Your capacity has risen, your wisdom has deepened, your obedience has sharpened. And because of that, you are now eligible for what was always planned for you. Heaven gives based on identity and stewardship, not desire alone. Many desire abundance, but few are prepared to steward it. You, however, you have been chosen to carry it. Because you don't seek it for ego. You don't crave it for image. You desire it for assignment. Overflow is not your idol. Overflow is your instrument. And heaven funds instruments that serve divine purpose. But I must tell you something with absolute clarity. Your next measure of increase is tied directly to your immediate obedience, not delayed obedience, not partial obedience, not obedience once everything makes sense, immediate obedience. Heaven has placed an instruction in your spirit, and though you may have tried to dismiss it or postpone it, it has not left you. It returns in quiet moments. It nudges you when you're still. It whispers when your excuses grow loud. That is because the instruction is connected to the release. The step you take in obedience tonight will activate what heaven already released on your behalf. You are not stepping into a blessing, you are stepping into alignment with a blessing already waiting. That is why heaven has been so persistent with you. That is why you feel urgency in your spirit. Because windows in the spirit do not stay open indefinitely. When grace is present, obedience becomes ease. But when grace lifts, the same action becomes warfare. Heaven is giving you ease in this moment. Heaven is giving you clarity. Heaven is giving you strength. Heaven is giving you the invitation to move. Chosen one, this is your crossing. This is your activation. This is the moment where prophecy becomes reality, where instruction becomes increase, where identity becomes manifestation. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are being asked to take the step. Heaven is illuminating right now. And when you take it, the shift will not be subtle. It will be undeniable. Chosen one. This is your appointed hour. What heaven has begun moving toward you will not be delayed, and what has been unlocked in your spirit tonight will not be taken from you. Walk forward with reverence, boldness, and quiet certainty, for the supernatural transfer is already in motion. Stay aligned, stay sensitive, stay faithful to the instruction placed in your heart. If this word resonated in your spirit, let heaven witness your agreement. Share this with another chosen one who needs awakening. Go in grace, anointed one. Your provision is rising to meet you. I'll see you in the next move of God.